Hello and welcome back to Cooking with YouTube Nanny. Today I thought we would do something a little bit more adventurous. I thought we might make a 1950s Victoria sponge. Today we're going to be using a special ingredient, rose water. I got this in Sainsbury's and it cost me £4. There we go. Okay, let's get started. Let me put you there so you can see. Right, what's the first thing we need to do? You're on the ball today, aren't you? Right, tie your hair up, put your apron on and let's wash these hands. Again, if you want to sing happy birthday twice, go ahead and do so. Rub it right in, backs, get all the way round. I've washed mine already today, but it doesn't hurt to do it twice. I can't emphasise how important it is to keep your hands clean. Right, shake them off and let's dry them. Right, first thing you need to do is to put your oven on. It's gas mark 5, 375 Fahrenheit or 180 Celsius. Right, here we go. You've got your bowl and your spoon. I've measured my ingredients out already, so I'm not going to be using this today. If I go too fast, just pause me, catch up, and then unpause me. So we've got 200 grams or 8 ounces of sugar. Try to use caster sugar, but if you can't get caster sugar, use granulated sugar. And today we have got 200 grams or 8 ounces of flora. You can use butter. If your tummies can tolerate butter, then by all means use it. Again, we're going to be using the creaming method. So to start this off, just going to gently poke down, softening up the margarine or the butter as we go along. It's always a good idea to take the margarine or butter out of the fridge about half an hour before you need to use it. It just makes it easier to work with. It just softens it up a little bit. Just gets it to room temperature. Okay, using the creaming method. Oh, excuse me. Just really give it a good thrashing. Mix it up so it's really creamy. You want it to look like double cream. Next thing to do, I'm going to put in half of my flour. So that's 200 grams of self-raising flour or 8 ounces. I'm just going to put in some of that. That's just going to help the egg. We've got 3 eggs in here. Just going to give it a little beat up. That's it, perfect. Okay, sometimes when you mix egg into the creamed butter, it can split. So to stop that happening, that's why I put in some flour. I'm going to put all my eggs in one go. If you're worried about your egg, you can put it in a little bit at a time. I'm just going to plop all mine in one go, and I'm going to use that flour to help pull together the butter, the sugar and the egg, just to help it bind together and stop it from splitting. If yours does split, don't worry, put all the flour in, it'll be fine. Just very gently fold that in. There we go. Well, that's coming along lovely. And when you're happy, put the rest of your flour in. There we are. And very gently. Once you've got your mixture, or some people like to call it batter, push that aside and you need 2 of these baking tins. I call them Victoria tins. They're about 8-inch circles. You cut out your greaseproof paper and pop it in. And then you need to divide your mixture equally between both tins. Once you've got that in your tin, let me bring this over. Gently with a spoon, just spread it evenly around. And while you're doing that, see if you can make a little well at the bottom, like a little indentation using your spoon. because what happens is quite often when you're making a cake, it rises more in the middle. And to try and stop this and just keep it a little bit flatter, only just because it's easier to work with. Make a little well. Okay, pop that in the oven. As I said, gas mark 5 or 375 Fahrenheit or 180 on your fan assisted oven, okay? Pop that in about 20 minutes, but just keep checking it as it goes. And then if you run a knife in it and if it comes up clear, you're done. Right, while that's cooking in the oven, we're going to get together and we're going to make the buttercream filling. Let me show you what you need. You're going to need 120 grams of flora, or of course you can use butter. We're going to need 170 grams of icing sugar. You're going to be needing your food colouring, and I've chosen this pink one. And you're going to need 1 tablespoon of your rose water. So here we go. Okay, in a clean bowl, I've already measured mine. Be really careful with your icing sugar because it does tend to, because it's really light, it just tends to puff up. You can actually taste it in your mouth once it's in the air. There we go. Then you pop in 120 grams of butter or margarine. I'm being very careful with that. Let's mind that out of the way. And then I'm going to very gently, using my metal spoon, I'm going to chop up the butter into smaller pieces. Then I'm going to add, let's give it a little shake first, 1 tablespoon. Let's take that off. Of this rose water. Oh yeah, it smells like Turkish delight. There we go, 1 tablespoon. In you go. And a little squirt of the pink food colouring. Less is more. And if you don't know what that means, it just means put a little bit in at a time and work it. If you want a richer colour, add more as you go. So just keep mixing that in till you get to a nice buttery texture. Do it slowly though, you don't want it going all over the kitchen. Can you see that? Look at that beautiful pink rose water smelling buttercream. When you've got it like that, I'm going to pop it in the fridge until I'm ready to decorate my cake. There we are. Can you see how beautiful that is? It's lovely, isn't it? Right, next thing, pop it in the fridge and then come back to me. Right, while you've got that in the fridge, the next thing to do is to get your ingredients ready to make your topping. Icing sugar. I've got measured out 220 grams of icing sugar. We've got a clean bowl. We're going to have 1 tablespoon of rose water, and we're going to have the pink food colouring as well. Carefully, we need to put our 220 grams of icing sugar. Oh, remember what I told you. This is very powdery. It just wants to jump out all the time. Very carefully. Got to be very careful. Icing sugar, because it's a bit cheeky. Right, we're going to put in 1 tablespoonful of rose water. I'm going to measure this carefully. There it goes. There we go, and then we're going to put in a little bit of our food colouring. I'm going to, again, do it slowly because this is quite strong, so just give it a little squeeze. I'll put 2 little blobs in there. Then we're going to mix it up. You might need to put a tablespoonful of water in it. If you do it a little bit at a time, because sometimes all of a sudden it'll be too wet and too runny. I'm going to put a tiny bit of water into mine because it's too dry. Don't put any more than a tablespoonful. Just do it really slowly and very slowly. Slowly is better with icing sugar. really, really slowly, and you'll be able to see it all coming together. And when you think it's too dry, just put another tiny drop of water in it. Okay, so I've put about a tablespoon full of water in mine, but I didn't put it all in one go. I did it in little dribs and drabs. Yeah, that's kind of what we're looking for, a nice thick consistency. There we go, can you see? Just about dropping off the spoon there. That's perfect. Right, when you've done that, put a bit of cling film over the top of it, and then leave it until your cakes are completely cold. What we're going to do, using your knife, we're just going to score all the way around, and then very gently pop those out. There we go. Same with the other one. Just let that knife very carefully score all the way around. Very gently pop that out. And very carefully, you see that, very carefully, just take the baking paper off. These are nice and cold. Just put that aside. Okay, what we're going to do, this is the top of the cake, but we're going to spin that round, and that's going to be the top. What I'm going to do, I'm going to use a little bit of my buttercream that I made earlier. It was in the fridge. Just going to take a little blob of that. Looks lovely. Place it. It just gives my cake something to stick to. And then put that in the middle, and very carefully press that down. Right, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little bit of strawberry jam. This is strawberry conserve. I've got that one from Aldi. Very, very reasonably priced. Not too much, just use a spoon. Very carefully spread that onto your 1950s Victoria sandwich. Right, that's done. Put that aside for a minute. The next one, again, that's the top part of the cake. What I'm going to do is spin it round, so this part is going to be our top. So, using your buttercream, let's just spread that on. Oh, it does smell really delicious. Very pinky. I like to put plenty of buttercream on. There. More over here. We're going to very carefully drop that on and slide. Oh, that's beautiful. Let's mine that out of the way now. Don't need that anymore. Okay, the next step is, can you see that? There's plenty of buttercream in there. The next step is get another spoon, and this is our icing for the top. Let's take that to the side. Give that a little refresher. Get it where it's going to very carefully. Look at that. Absolutely delicious. You can decorate that. If you can get some of those sugared rose petals, pop them on top. I wasn't able to get those. Absolutely delicious.